Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Nick, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about whether crested geckos are paternal or not. Are the moms protective? Are the dads protective? Are either of them really protective? Let's get right into it. Okay, so the first important thing that we're going to kind of talk about here is in the wild. So what do crested geckos do in the wild? So there has been some reports that kind of lean toward crested geckos maybe roaming in somewhat of groups. Now, not like, you know, 5 of them share a tree branch together, but maybe like there's one male and 2 or 3 females and they kind of cohabitate a section or a couple bushes section. So it's fairly spread out still because they are somewhat solitary, but there is some evidence in the wild that, not that they roam in groups, you know, like lions or zebras or something like that, but they do kind of to keep each other close, and typically that's because they mate quite a bit. So they're not like snakes or anything else that will just, you know, get together once a year, lay 15 eggs, leave, and they're done. These guys lay 2 eggs a month, so they kind of need to be around, males and females kind of need to be around each other for the most part. So crested geckos, they lay their eggs in the dirt. And that's really not a surprise. I mean, even though, you know, they're semi-arboreal, it's not like they're building nests up in the trees and laying eggs like a bird would. They lay their eggs typically under a tree, you know, by the roots and whatnot. And sometimes I think that that's a protective measure. But that is where they will lay their eggs, is in the dirt. So when it comes to egg protection, there's no real indication that crested geckos are protective of their eggs. Now I see a lot of people who will say like, oh, well, my female, she stays in the spot where she laid her eggs. Does that mean that she's guarding her eggs? And the answer to that really is no. It's kind of because the odds of your gecko after laying its eggs being somewhere near the eggs in a tank that's 30 gallons is kind of high. You know, for the most part, they're probably going to be close to where they laid. And that's just because they're in a smaller space than they would be in the wild. I've also heard people say that their gecko gets aggressive whenever they go dig for eggs. Like some people who cohab, I've heard them claim that that when they reach into the tank, the male tries to attack them because they're digging for eggs. When in reality, the male is attacking you because the male is being protective of his territory. See, anytime if you put a male and two females together, that male is going to be the king of that castle, or he's going to at least think he is. So whenever you come around, some geckos are going to be protective of their territory. So he could care less about the eggs in the ground. He's more so just telling you to get away. So he doesn't always have to like come attack you every time you come to the tank for this to be true, but it's kind of one of those like odds things. Eventually he's going to attack you if he's an attacking type gecko whenever you're digging for eggs. So, you know, causation is not correlation, you know, that kind of deal. So don't think that your male cares about his future babies. The next thing that I want to talk about, after a quick gecko swap here, is can babies live with parents? So I know that you guys have seen like crocodile skinks. They raise their babies. They will take care of their babies for a couple months. Well, actually, I don't know how long they take care of them, but I know that they take care of them till the next batch of eggs will hatch or something like that. So they're not like that for sure. And I know that you've seen like tokay geckos. Like tokay geckos will do the same thing. They'll lay eggs, let those eggs hatch, and then you'll see them feeding and helping take care of those babies for X amount of time. And then eventually those babies are big enough to go out on their own. And then when they go out on their own, that's whenever about the next round of eggs will hatch, or something similar to that. But with these guys, unfortunately, they don't do any of that. So the egg hatches and the babies are just kind of, they got to fend for themselves. Mom and dad are not going to help the babies out. They're not going to bring food to the babies. They're not going to lead the babies to food. These guys act on natural instinct. And if you decide to put a mom, dad, and baby together, if that's the route you're going, they will eventually probably eat the baby, or if not, they will dominate resources. There's even people who cohab, you'll run into situations where one gecko starts losing weight and you need to separate. So kind of the same thing with the baby. The baby's not going to be able to you know, be a dominant force in that, you know, with 2 50-gram geckos or whatever it is. So, and usually it kind of becomes a snack for the parents. I have had eggs laid in my bioactive tanks that I didn't get around to, and next thing I know, I'm seeing a crested gecko run around, and that's good. Now, usually I see them hiding though, and that's kind of important to remember, that they're going to stay super hidden, and they're not going to just want to be out with the adults where they could potentially be eaten once again. I have found eggs that have hatched, and then I never found a baby. So that just right there kind of tells you that they will eat their babies. Some do, some don't. It's important that when you talk about really any species of animal, a blanket statement doesn't cover everything. So when I say that, yeah, I'm saying most parents will probably eat their babies. That doesn't mean all of them will. Some of them, even ones that I have, will obviously live just fine together for the first couple days, maybe, you know, until I can find them. But if I were just to let that continue, I truly believe that they would be a snack before they were a family. So, you know, just to wrap up this video, I don't think crested geckos are paternal. I don't think that they have any instincts like that. And there's really nothing to prove that they do have any instincts like that, especially when we have such other, you know, amazing reptiles that show such strong and really incredible paternal instincts. It's kind of a hard argument to say that these guys really care, you know, and it's kind of the joke too with crested geckos, you know, like they're the one brain cell animal, you know, and even if they are the one brain cell animal, that one brain cell is not devoted toward caring for babies, you know, they can barely take care of themselves sometimes. So with that said, guys, that's gonna be the video. Get your eggs out of the tank. Don't let them raise each other or anything like that. They don't have to sit on the eggs. You know, like ball pythons, you can do a maternal incubation. These guys just lay them in the ground and she gone, you know, we're out of here. So all right, with that said, guys, that's the video. If you did like it, go ahead and subscribe, hit that like button. And until next time, guys, stay safe and stay positive.